Rob, good to see you again.
Same here, Al. Always a pleasure.
Excellent. So remember the other day I mentioned to you that topic, organizational agility, right? And lots of people have been talking about agile and agile way of working. You may have seen the guys in R&D, software development, etc., very much into that. And Scrum. This is not what we're talking about. We really are talking about more how you as a leader and in your work, etc., have seen this play out in clients, internally in organization you work with, etc. So if you want to shoot something around the culture piece, I do believe there's a culture component. And literally, I'm going to leave it open-ended to you. My assumption that I'm checking with you on is that cultures are truly important in setting the stage for deciding, what agility really means for an organization. How is that helping the business at large, the bottom line, the way of working with folks? So anything that comes to mind first on culture, I would be happy to hear your views on that, Rob.
Sure. The first thing that comes to mind, it's ironic that I work with and for an organization, Booz Allen Hamilton, that has been in business for over 100 and some years, and a renowned name. And when you're like that, there are certain parts where maybe you have a perception of being the opposite of agile. That you're pretty rigid in your processes and what have you. But really what you have to be is remarkably agile to be able to not just survive, but thrive in different times and evolve as an organization. That's not to say you can't have really robust processes that might be have rigor, if not necessarily rigid. But you have to establish that culture where you are always evolving and always changing, and a priori, you're agile.
So over the time you had to be adapt. Then is that what I'm hearing? Did you have to adapt a lot?
Imagine it. You have to adapt, or you're gone.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Over the course of time with the firm, have you then seen times, maybe including even COVID-19 times, but even prior to that, where you do believe that it was very important to lean on this, ability of the organization to do something very different, to still not, I like a lot that you say it's not just relevant, but also able to even grow during those times, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I've been with us for almost 20 years. And to your question, I guess I've seen 3 or 4 inflection points where I'd say, typical adaptability, typical agility really came to the fore. First, in the early 2000s, after September 11th, that created a demand for strong technology services, particularly in defense of our nation. And as a result, parts of this business really exploded, if you will. And there was a real need, there was technological advancement, and we were proud to be at the forefront of that. Then the next component, there was a dramatic setback in the economy with the recession. And it caused, in typical after a real escalation period in the economy, that really called you to focus on core competencies and focus probably more on efficiency than on expansion. So that really tests your agility in a different way. Can you retract efficiently, but still try to grow? The third one was, okay, coming out of that retraction, we don't want to go back to where we were. And frankly, the nature of our clientele and the services wouldn't allow us to go back. So for our company, we set forth on a journey that we called Vision 2020, that we did at the beginning of the last decade, and said, where do we want to go, and create that. Then the fourth inflection point is right now. And in this time of COVID, where you turn on a dime, things that we talked about engaging talent remotely, which I think we did a great job. We've been forced into doing an even better job, and even shaping the way our clients ask for their services, because we don't have a choice. It's not a nice to have, it's a must have. So I think we've been changing all along, but those are really 4 strong inflection points after the last 2 decades.
These are great examples, and I think that's going to be a nice tee up for our next series of questions, because towards the end, it sounds like also the speed by which you make decisions and how that cascades down the organization has been helping tremendously. So we're going to do a wrap now, but when I come back, I want to talk to you about maybe a combo between strategy and processes, because it sounds like the magical formula, or what the firm I hear used, this through the terminology secret sauce, might have been driving that. So looking forward to that as well.
Yes.
Thanks, Rob.
Great. Yep.